day 2 in Japan, and well, things are starting off a little bit better. For sure, way better than yesterday. I got my eSIM thing figured out. Mint Mobile had this international plan or whatnot with inside of their app, but what was going wrong yesterday was I had to reset my cellular device or whatnot. I had to like reset it back to factory settings. They said that it's a abnormal thing to happen. It doesn't usually happen. So of course that was my luck, and you know, it just wasn't working. So that's why I didn't have service, but now I have service. It was like $10 for 200 minutes and 200 text messages along with 3 gigs of Wi-Fi. And it doesn't look like I'm using very much of it because I'm using the Wi-Fi in the room and everything. So it does look like that'll last me for the remainder of the trip, or for most of it at least. But if I need to get more, I can just get more with them for like $5, which is not bad. That's pretty cheap. I think that's cheap in comparison to some other things. I know that Ugby thing that you guys were mentioning in the chat was suggesting that one. That one's actually pretty good too, because you get unlimited data. But I needed cell service also because of the stores that I run back home, and just for any clients and stuff that are looking for me for recordings and things like that. So I actually needed the phone service along with it. So I think it's a pretty good deal. I don't know, let me know down below what. I'm just gonna whisper while I'm out here so I don't wake up anyone. But I wanted to show you the room. I almost locked myself out. I'm glad I didn't do that. So when I first got here, this part, I was not expecting where you have to put in the key to turn on everything. And also, that's actually pretty badass. Yeah, like everything turns off in here. Like I think the TV and everything, like they'll shut off unless you have that key in there. But it's a really, really small room, but it's cozy. It's cozy. The thing that I thought was genius was that they have this to turn off lights and then turn them on right at the bed instead of having to get up and just, you know, hit the light switches. Yeah, see, the TV just turned on when I put the card in. Got a pretty cool view. Pretty cool. Humidifier, which I want one of these for my studio, for my guitars and stuff, because this thing is actually really badass. Has like this water container filler over here, but it also purifies the air. And oh, I just realized there's coffee cups down here. Oh, that's cool. Oh, this will be useful. I didn't even know this was here. Some slippers, which I don't even know if my feet will fit in these. Oh, they're just big enough. They're just big enough. I guess they're a little bit too big. You guys get to keep those free feet pics right there. Got a fridge over here. This place comes with free breakfast too, so I'm gonna be getting some breakfast here very soon. I have used the infamous bidets, the toilets, or what do they call it here? They call it something different here. Or, well, at least that's what it translates to, which I thought was pretty funny. It says on here it's called a shower toilet. I love that name, shower toilet. Man, I used this shower toilet. It was fucking amazing. If you ever get a chance to use one, use one. I can't believe it took me this long to use one. I used one at my friend Vicky's house, and it sucked compared to this one. First things first, seat is heated, all right? Seat is heated. Why are not all toilet seats heated? So people here use the restroom in luxury. But something that I noticed is that the sink and the toilet are all connected along with the tub. And this fucking tub, it's so deep. It's so deep. Like, I want to take a bath. Yeah, so bath was a bad idea. I don't fit at all. So this is gonna have to turn into a shower real quick. But I don't think the shower head reaches the top of my head, so I'm gonna have to hold it above my head in order to take a shower, so because I'm too tall. I barely fit in this room. Like when I stand up, my head is to the ceiling. I feel like I'm a giant inside of a small house. It's crazy. I'm not even that tall. I'm 6 foot. And another thing that I thought was cool was that the water is purified and you can drink it out of here, which is another thing. I'm like, why don't we do that in the US? Why? And it tastes good. It doesn't taste bad. If you do this in the US, you taste chlorine like immediately. So when I was going to look at the toilet, at least there's instructions here on how to use the bidet, because when I used it at my friend's house, he didn't have instructions and he had the jet like all the way up, and I turned it on, it fucking hurt. It fucking blasted. You know what? It did not feel good. I'm going to be planning my interview questions for the bands I'm going to be interviewing for tomorrow. I know in the last video I said that I was going to be doing that today actually, but I realized it's not today, so pretty much am a little bit free this Wednesday. So I might do some exploring, I might not. My level of anxiety traveling about right now is at all-time high. I'm trying to get over it and just go out there, but I am so nervous. I don't know how to explain it. It's just not knowing the language really bugs me, and it's like messing with my head so hard. I don't know if any of that's ever happened to you guys, but the whole language barrier thing is bothering me. It's bothering me that I can't talk with people or say something back. I feel so bad the entire time. That's the worst part about it. I feel bad about it. I'm like, man. When I was talking to the taxi driver yesterday, he was apologizing because he had made some mistakes when he had circled the hotel like 5 times. And I was trying to tell him like, oh, thank you. No worries, no worries. I got to see the city. But obviously he didn't understand me, and can't communicate it with him very thoroughly. But today is a new day. I have my service set up on my phone now. Also, the internet is super fast here. Like... I have the worst internet in El Paso, Texas, so the internet here is just amazingly good. I was shocked that the Wi-Fi was this fast, so I might actually go live too at some point. Might as well go to McDonald's. You know, it's something familiar, you know what to do, you know how to order there, right? So I figured this was a good way to just break the seal. So I opted to get the New York McMuffin, which came out to about 590 yen, which is about $3.89 US, with a hot apple pie also with that. So that is actually ridiculously cheap. I didn't realize how cheap it was. And yeah, that's way cheaper than back in the US. I was completely shocked though, because the barbecue meat that was on this sandwich was extremely sweet. It was very sweet. I was shocked. I thought things were going to be less sweet, but no, it's about as sweet as anything you'd eat in the US. So that kind of threw me off. I actually didn't finish this because it was just too sweet for me. Then the apple pie was pretty much the same tasting like the apple pies in the US, except a lot less cinnamon, and it tasted more fresh. I don't know if that makes sense. It just tasted more fresh. Don't worry, I actually try ramen later on in this video. Legend himself, Dudo.
Hi, everybody.
Finally, we got to meet him after 4 or 5 years of conversation.
Yes.
Yeah, 5 years. My first show in Japan. Wow, the shows here compared to the US are astronomically different. Just way different. There's so much interaction. There's so much stuff happening with the audience. The audience is like a separate show on its own along with the show. And like for every part of the band's set, there is different like interactions within each song as it's playing. And it made more sense to me when I was thinking about going to the bandmade shows, when people were doing certain things like this, like with their hands, like when they will go to slower parts of the song or something that was more intimate in the song. The same thing was happening with the first band that I saw at the show, which was Lumirise.
Lumirise のボーカルことみです。Lumirise のギターくるみです。Lumirise のベース音です。
Lumirise のドラムみずきです。
We are
Lumirise!
Yeah.
Everybody was just very interactive. When somebody did a guitar solo, they would push everyone forward and they would all be like this to the guitar solo. and I was just amazed by it. And there was mosh pits during every single part of the song. It didn't matter if it was heavy or not heavy. There was always a mosh pit. But the cool thing is mosh pits were very friendly. It wasn't overly done. It wasn't super aggressive. It was just like we were just bumping into each other, but it was still fun. We're all like moving around and everything. By the way, I couldn't film anything. I am going to be filming for the show today, but I didn't have permission to film for this show. So Lumirise goes on, right? Super interactive with the audience, and the audience was super interactive with them. Somebody did a bass solo, everyone would go up to her. If the singer leaned over, everyone went up to her, and it was like if it was choreographed almost. And there was always like one person that was egging it on or leading it on for the most part. But there's this one part during the show where she was singing the song where she would go to the right of the stage, and the whole entire crowd would go to the right of the stage, or the whole entire crowd would go to the left side of the stage with her. And I thought that was so awesome. It was so fun. It just made the show more engaging instead of just standing there and watching, which there's nothing wrong with that. But now it makes sense when I went to that Nemephila show in Las Vegas and everyone was giving the crowd crap because they were just standing there watching, because the shows over here are completely interactive, just way different and way more fun. Honestly, I never want to go to a show in the US anymore. I'd rather just go to a show here. So I actually really enjoyed it, because sometimes I go to shows and I'm just bored, but this was just very entertaining. And plus it was hard to be bored because all the musicians were phenomenal. Every single band, they were all good. I was thinking about this too as I was hearing all the bass players play, and they are all amazing. Like we already know, a lot of the bass players in Japan are just phenomenal. But I was thinking to myself as I was listening to these bands, hearing the mix of everything, I was like, no wonder why the bassists are good here. You can actually hear the bass playing in the mixes here compared to in the US. So if you can hear the bass, you're gonna make sure you're sounding good. I'm not sure if that's really the case. I was just making that joke in my head as I was watching this concert. So Lumirise was absolutely fantastic, and they are way better than the recordings that you see online right now. Keep an eye out for them. They are going to be hopefully releasing new music very soon. I was able to do an interview with them, which was awesome. I have to wait to get it translated. It was an on-the-spot interview. I wasn't really planning on doing one, so I was a little nervous, and I just asked whatever I could remember from my interview questions that I had set up for Lumirise, because since they're newer bands, I have like similar questions for newer bands just so everybody can get to know them if they don't know them already. I try to remember some questions off the top of my head and ask them. But that interview will be out shortly. A lot of the interviews are going to take just a little bit of time to put out because I'm going to have to work on translation. Now the next band I had never heard of before. It was called Bone Dawn. And oh my God, I absolutely fell in love with the singer Lima from this band. Her voice is fucking incredible. Amazing. It's so good. My favorite vocal performance I have heard in a long time live. I just really enjoyed that. Now, this includes members, bassist Ryoto Terasawa and drummer Kawakashi Shido. Something I learned about this drummer is that she's actually already famous. She's a radio personality, she's an actress, a model. She's known for this mainly. I thought that was really cool because she has this fame or notoriety already, and she's in this band working the underground scene. And she's only a few years older than I am, so to see her ripping it on the drums and killing it was awesome to see and very motivating for me to realize, hey, keep playing music, keep plugging away. Now, they don't have an actual guitarist yet, but they did have a support guitar. His name's Yuta. Holy shit, he is so good. He was amazingly clean with his shredding, his sweep picking, his feel, the technicality, and then some of the chords that he was playing during the set were really interesting, and it filled up the sound. And that's another thing. All these bands, they only have one guitarist, except for Nechi. They have two guitars, but the two bands before them had one guitar, and they were able to fill up the sound really nicely with one guitar, because when Nechi went on, I didn't realize that they had two guitars because it felt like the same sound consistently throughout. And that was the other thing. The mix for this live show was really good. Then, of course, the band you all been waiting for me to check out live was Nechi. And they did play the new song. They played my favorite song. I was so happy to hear it. It was phenomenal. The crowd went absolutely nuts when Nechi went on. They are definitely a band that is up on the rise. And you could tell those newer songs are really shaping up. And I really love the direction that they're going in. I can't wait to hear more from them. And the bassist Kanade was slapping like pretty much the whole entire night. She was absolutely crushing it on bass. This band was so good live. They put on a really good show. Very heartfelt too at certain moments. Just like with Bone Dawn, they were also the same way. When they did the emotional songs, you could tell she was about to tear up, and I almost started tearing up at this live show. During this, there was some funny moments with Hika, the vocalist slash guitarist. She went up to start a song, and she was in the complete wrong tuning, and the guitarist Natsu went up to her and was like, hey, you're in the wrong tuning. So they made like a little funny banter and everything between that. And that was really cool to see them just like laughing it off and just having a good time. A lot of these bands were just having a really good time, and it was fun to watch them. One of the best shows I've ever been to, and this was just an underground show. It wasn't even a full-on like concert or what you could dub as like famous bands, I guess you could say. But Japan shows are the best. You should go to one. If you haven't been to one, you have to go to one, okay? You have to. So after the show, I was able to interview Lumirise, like I mentioned earlier. That interview will be up soon, so stay tuned for that. I talked to Bone Dawn, and the singer knows English very well, so we talked for a little bit. It was so cool to meet her. I was trying really hard not to blush too much and make a fool out of myself. She was so awesome to talk to, and it looks like we're trying to set up an interview with management very soon with them. You guys have to hear this band. I'm telling you, they are so good. Please go check them out. You'll enjoy it. And I got a shirt from them. I wasn't able to get anything from Lumirise. They were sold out of shirts. This is the Bone Dawn shirt. Oh yeah, they do sing in English too, quite a bit. Awesome shirt. And then Nechi, I was able to still get a shirt from them. They were running out like crazy too. I got this Nechi shirt. We were trying to wait for Nechi to come out, but we found out from the merch girl that they weren't going to be coming out. I wanted to set up something with them to do an interview. So anyways, since we waited there for a while, and after we talked to Lumirise for a little bit, we got ready to leave and we started walking out of the venue. And as we're walking out, we catch Natsu and Hika just like walking back into the venue, and Hiro says hey to them, and then they're like hi, and then the guitarist looks at me and she's like, oh, and I was like, what? She recognizes me. We fist bumped. I don't know. She like wanted to do something like shake my hand or something, and I didn't know what to do, and I just she like put out her fist and we fist bumped. So maybe there will be an interview very shortly on that. We're trying to work out something to talk. I really want to learn more about them. Also, I didn't even know this. Nechi is known for their rock music and lyrics that reflect internet culture. They are sometimes called the sling rock band. And apparently Nechi is an internet slang term for a reliable older sister. Then after the venue, we went to Nechi Ramen, which originated from Yokohama, Japan. And that was very good, very tasty. I'm not sure if that was the best ramen place to try out, but I trusted Hiro on that, and it was very tasty. It tasted pretty good. And that roughly came out to 1,300 yen, which is close to $8 US. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. It means the world to me that you guys watch these videos. If you want to watch the beginning of this journey in Japan, there's a playlist right there for you to check out or to catch up on where I'm at right now. So I'll see you guys tomorrow in the next one. See you.